Good evening, Free Enterprise fans. Welcome to Free Enterprise 2 channel for our match tonight in the Blue Moon Waning bracket between JBrunTR and RagingLevine. I am Commander Leonhardt. S-Grunt is our restreamer. There are many theories about what the S stands for, but none have been confirmed. Zald is our tracker, and I'm joined on comms by the wonderful Smaped. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing fantastic. Glad to be here with you, Commander Leonhardt. We have got one heck of a game for you tonight against two fantastic competitors. This is the Waning bracket. One of these competitors is going to move on in the tournament. The other is going to go home, and boy, they've had some paths to get here. JBrunTR going up against Kyrios, and the only loss that he's taken so far, and that's a pretty that's a pretty solid competitor to have your only loss so far be against.
No doubt, and that road's not going to get any easier. Whoever wins this is going to go up against the winner of Locke and Beauty and Discovery, two solid competitors in their own right. That match won't be till Friday. But for the here and the now, we are starting with the Ninja, who does amazing things to an early overworld.
Oh, absolutely. Edge, just one of the most powerful characters in the game, especially if you get him as a starter. He starts with that massive level advantage. He can do so much with his high agility, just being able to run circles around these early characters. Our runners are going to know that they're going to have the power they need to get through the overworlds right from the get-go, so wouldn't be surprised if we get to see some maybe a little bit unorthodox plays, just knowing that they've got that strength behind them.
Yeah, Edge definitely changes up your approach to the overworld, without a doubt. A lot of options opened up. We have our 8 boss objectives, the Fabul, Gauntlet, and Golbez, always the first 2, the other 6 randomized. For tonight's race, we have King Eblin and Queen Eblin, appropriate, the Dark Elf, Mylon-Z, D-Mist, Asura, and Dr. Dialogue himself.
Yeah, interesting mix of bosses here. Some very, very simple. King Queen Eblin, of course, is essentially a free fight. It's a glorified cutscene. Dark Elf can be a little tricky in his first phase, but the second phase lacks that boss bit, so you can play around with him with some status play. And Dr. Lugai, not a particularly difficult fight, also something of a cutscene. But Asura can be a little nasty, and D-Mist always can be a problem if you get in a high HP spot.
Yep. We will see which of these bosses end up fought. As you can see by the tracking, only 7 are required to get the crystal. Edge starts with Rosa. The rich get richer in terms of party power. CPU hands over a tower key, and we are off and running.
Yeah, Rosa, definitely a great character to get right out of the bat. Honestly, those 2 characters right there might be all you need to finish the seed. Other than that, nothing terribly exciting here. We don't need CPU for anything, so Baron Castle loses just a tiny bit of its luster, and that tower key not going to make any routing changes immediately, of course, until we get underground.
Yeah, these 2 should be all we need to get to Z. Edge could be a little squishy to Big Bangs, so no. If you're good at nerfing Big Bangs, we're set. Otherwise, maybe somebody with a little more fortitude.
Already divergence, right out of the bat. RagingLevine says, I want a key item. JBrunTR says, I want more characters in this party. Gets himself a bargain engineer.
Well, Sid takes care of that Big Bang fortitude I was asking for. And Edward has a few tricks up his sleeve, and Bedward handing over a vanilla twin harp.
Yeah, that's interesting to find early. Twin harp, not a particularly enjoyable check for runners just because of the length of time involved. Obviously for chat, it's very enjoyable. But that's one of those items that could keep you here on the blue planet. Edge, of course, is perfectly suited to dealing with the boss there. Being as resistant to magic damage as it is, Edge isn't concerned with that in the slightest.
Without a doubt. Edge does make you feel a bit more comfortable about the twin harp check. We've got Palom hanging out in the watery pass. We're just getting all the good characters so far. Fight me about that, Edward.
No, we pull an early spoon. That Edward is going to be an absolute powerhouse, and even late game, he's still a fantastic last cannon. That agility means he's going to be competitive with Edge as far as turns go. So no, I don't mind an Edward with how often we see the spoon pop up.
RagingLevine has headed into Antlion Cave, done a little bit of looting while he's there, while JBrunTR heads over to Troya to get the Twin Harp. I don't hate an elixir, but I think that's the most exciting thing I saw in there. I could have missed something.
Just I think there was a Thunderclaw, which will definitely be useful if Yang decides to show up. But yeah, other than that, just that elixir. Hey, there's a required boss.
Well, you wanted some AoE damage for this. We've got Flame. We've got a little bit more in the way of fights than Edge's MP can take, but there might be a couple of fights that'll respond quick enough to regular attacks.
Ooh, Murasame in that Troya treasury there, so that's a good pull.
It is.
In fact, we were just talking about that elixir. How tempted would you be to pop that elixir just to get Edge's MP back up to get through the rest of these fights?
That's rough. That's rough. I toss an ether one without thinking about it. Probably
Elixir's asking a little too much.
Elixir. But that Murasame, for attack power, it's the second best ninja sword in the game. It's got a little bit of a bad rap because of its -5 to agility, sort of biting into one of Edge's big advantages, but it gives +5 to strength and it gives +5 to wisdom. So if you're in a situation where you want to make sure that your flame has a little more punch, that Murasame is not the worst way to go about it.
Not terrible pulls there in Damsian Basement. We had a Drain Spear, which makes a fantastic dart. Shuriken, also a decent dart. Siren to help get some experience if necessary, and an Hourglass 2, which can trivialize at least one of the fights inside of the Evelyn Castle. And double required here. We got a boss and the hook in the Antlion Cave.
I don't think we're going to be pulling a PK of Fading Antlion.
If anyone fades Antlion, they're going to be rushing over to Antlion before too long when they realize what's happened.
We have Cecil in Damsian Castle. So, yeah, this party is looking amazing.
Yeah, with that Cecil, I'm really thinking about Evelyn Castle, especially with that Hourglass, just knowing that I'm going to get at least one free pull out of there. And, we talked about how powerful Edge can be as a physical attacker. Well, just wait till you get Crystal Sword Cecil online.
RagingLevine still avoiding characters. One of the things about that fast Edge anchor is that filling up your party actually slows him down, just for the sheer amount of time it takes to even parry through everyone's actions. So, RagingLevine doing what we see runners often do, keeping the party to a minimum until he's done what he wants to with that early Edge, and then filling up.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting difference, though, because since JBrunTR has that Palom, that's a not insignificant amount of experience he's going to get from this Fabul Gauntlet fight, which is going to get some of his spellcasting online. And completely optional Nope Rope today. That's kind of a sigh of relief for our runners, I'm sure.
Yeah, none of the boss objectives are Lunar Sparkles, and also convenient not to see Ogopogo blocking progression, say, on the hook route, for example.
RagingLevine going to grab his Dark Knight here as well. We'll see if he decides to bungle around in the basement like JBrunTR did, or if we haven't seen much looting from RagingLevine at all, so might just be very confident in what Edge is giving to him right now.
Yeah, going a bit faster, a bit more aggressive, both in terms of that light party comp and that light looting, probably makes up for it at Evelyn Castle sooner or later, especially once he sees that Cecil. Finally
going to pick up a duo of characters here, grabbing the Edward and Sid available here in the city as JBrunTR is slugging his way through this alt gauntlet here.
You know, at least with Sid around with an axe, there's someone else to help cut through the encounter and save some MP.
Quick look into here, and hey, longswords for sale. That's not terrible.
No, longsword's a legit option. It's mid-game tier, I would say. You want to get to, I'd say, at least double ninja, or in a pinch, double Murasame to be dealing end-game damage. But it's
Yeah, absolutely. Still, do not blame RagingLevine one bit for footing the cash to get those two swords in his ninja's hand.
Yeah, especially with T Wildish on. Money is generally not an issue for Blue Moon runners. They've generally got more than they know what to do with unless they're extremely streamlined and lucky with their looting.
A little bit of disappointment there in Mist Cave, finding the Water Hag. Runners definitely want to see that later in the game, being an incredibly easy fight to get through. Now it's just in an optional spot, so...
Yep, and JBrunTR is going to give us our last look at a character and probably continue straight onward to get his Paladin online. Spare Dancing Dagger. Oh, it is Kane. You know, I'm sitting here thinking we're pretty close to a vanilla party.
Yeah.
Kane is the glaring absence. Palom, you know, is a acceptable and some would argue superior substitute for Rydia. But even though people call Kane Captain Average, there's really no other character that steps into his role quite exactly.
Yeah, you might be able to argue that Edward kind of can do what he does as far as being able to cheese some encounters by being off the grid, as it were, when you need to be. But yeah, Kane. I would feel better about a Kane if we didn't have already so many physical powerhouses in this team between Edge and Cecil, and so yeah, I really can't blame JBrunTR for not taking him, since there really isn't a niche that he absolutely needs with Kane here.
You know, with that Drain Spear, Kane could make an excellent anchor.
That's a very good point. You know, it's much easier to make Sid the anchor, but you know, always a possibility with Kane. Ooh, back attack by again. That's a little bit of a nasty fight.
Yeah, it's a little on the rude side, definitely. We can toss flame at it once, and actually we can just keep tossing flame at it, and then Jitsu Magic is not impressed by Baigen's wall.
Yep, one of those seemingly magical abilities that just isn't interested in the reflect strat. So very useful in that regard to keep those hands down. That's going to be very, very useful for JBrunTR here. Going to have to pluck through the rest of the HP on the body, but that timing is working out really well. The hand's coming right in time for another flame, so this is going to work out pretty well. This shouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah, Mr. Bus Driver in chat pointing out that a Drain Spear darted right into Baigen's toothy, grinning face wouldn't be the worst plan here.
Yeah,
especially now that we're out of MP.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah, would not be beyond the pale at all to see something like that. Ooh, some reflect strats here from Palom to get some extra damage. It does hit the body, does not hit hands. That's exactly what you want to see.
I like it. I honestly, that would not have occurred to me. In JBrunTR's situation, I probably would have just thrown the spell directly at the arm and gone about my business, but very heads up to bounce that fire off the wall that Baigen so thoughtfully provided.
Yeah, paid off big and got him through the fight. We'll see if he decides to take a safety save or he's just going to dash right into that shrine. There he goes.
I'm voting dash in. Yeah. There's not much you're afraid of with an edge anchor in here. Even a wyvern probably is not going to be fast enough, even at battle speed 1, to stop edge from putting a veil up or
Yeah,
just
very good
one-shotting
point.
it with a dart.
And there's that Baron Key. We talked about how we know CPU is in the buy good spot, so no value there, but there's still 2 more bosses and 2 more key item checks to be done there. This is looking like a seed that kind of wants you to stay in the overworld a little bit.
And we have our second objective here in Ordeals that we probably don't have time for any grrr. But yeah,
Yep.
we've got a tower key, a twin harp, and a baron key. We're quickly racking up the key items.
Edge applying a little bit of cutscene skip no jutsu there. And done.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're quickly getting a hold of a lot of the key items that we need to access bosses.
My question in chat, how does Baigen get dressed in the morning? Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't he just like wearing a loincloth? I guess he does have kind of a jacket on, doesn't he?
Not going there.
I'm just kind of imagining him going to Cagnazzo for help, and Cagnazzo's like, I'm a turtle, I can't use my hands well, why are you even coming to me? It's my Cagnazzo impression, everybody. Popping a siren here is JBrunTR getting that 2 level Lilith fight, one of the highest XP value fights here on the Overworld.
Yeah, this is a fairly common place to see people use sirens. You want to power up a little bit before taking on Eblan Castle. This is helpful, and Flame, of course, makes it super easy.
It's going to help Palom contribute a little bit more. Getting some levels on the kid is the best way to get him powered up because of the way his spells are granted based on level ups. So once you get to certain benchmarks like Virus and Quake, Palom becomes an incredibly competent damage dealer.
Yeah, that is why we call him the Quack Kid, because he will power up pretty quickly once he learns Quake, which is at a ridiculously low level.
Yes, and our restreamer Esgrunt pointing out that is also a great way to slingshot Paladin Cecil. Is at level 1 as soon as you get him, getting a solid amount of levels for him as well. It's going to get that HP up. It's going to make him more survivable, hit harder, and extra Todd still smells.
Some sort of sparkle here in Baronet 1 that's not an objective. We don't have time for that either.
No, we do not. Very quickly done with that, and we got a Dragon Lord. Now your initial instinct would be to Starveil up here, but just with how fast Edge is here, I think you can just damage through it. I don't think you have to worry about reflecting anything.
Yeah, this spot is ridiculously slow. It punches hard to make up for it, but this is not a boss where we care about some things, that sort of thing. Dark Imps are a very rude surprise here.
Oh, absolutely. Dark Imps are bad. Antlion can be especially nasty in this spot.
And now we're down to 4. Yeah. And we're done.
Rat Tail could potentially lead to some extra paths to go down here, or could just lead to nothing. Gotta think that our runners are not going to leave the Underworld without that checked.
Mr. Bus Driver's asking if Evil Wall cheats in Baron N2. Sort of. I mean, the main way Evil Wall cheats is that when it's his turn, he takes his turn, even if a bunch of people have actions lined up. Kind of like your own Berserk characters do. But a Berserked boss at RA, what would that be? Probably 40? is still RA 40.
Yeah, Evil Wall is that guy who just kind of disregards the fact that everyone is standing away from the counter to pick up their prescription because, you know, you still want to keep a distance from one another, and just walks right up to the counter like there isn't a bunch of people waiting behind him.
Jerk.
Evil Wall is indeed a jerk.
JBrunTR setting up some solid cover Cecil strats, as he has nothing better than a dancing dagger to use for offense, but can get some good armor on him and keeps him in the back row.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of cover Cecil play. It's one of the reasons you kind of want to Paladin Cecil, even if you don't have a fantastic weapon for him right away. That Protect Ring is going to help him cover, and that Power Robe is going to be great for Edge. But yeah, just get him ready to go, keep him in the back row so he takes so much less damage, and anybody that's going to fall into critical health, Cecil is just going to take care of. And if something punches so hard that it gets through all of that defense, you still got Blink to fall back on if you get Rosa high enough level. So good stuff here.
Left tower cleaned out, no trap chest yet, as RagingLevine makes short work of this Bahamut. Kind of been chasing in JBrunTR's footsteps, a little bit behind, but should be catching up before too long.
Yeah, I mentioned RagingLevine did a little bit more looting than JBrunTR did, and also picked up his characters later. So that's sort of been the difference in their play so far.
Yeah, still very early. Plenty of time to see how things shake up, especially once we get to Underworld and perhaps split up a little bit.
Good heads up play there, and JBrunTR getting the life potion out for the life glitch. Double XP from that Mad Ogre. Might as well get as leveled up as you can while you're here.
How does a life glitch work?
I'm glad you asked. So there's this stat called Stamina in Final Fantasy IV, and what it does is it determines how much HP your character has when it's revived from the KO status. And that's all well and good, but since enemies don't tend to revive each other, they just went ahead and gave every enemy in the game 0 stamina. So when you can take advantage of that by reviving an enemy just as it dies. You get a little bit of time to target it as it's sort of fading out. And if you bring it back to life, it checks its stamina, says it has 0 stamina, so it comes back to life with 0 HP and just immediately dies again. It doesn't give you an animation or anything, but it will give you the experience as if you killed it twice.
Perfect explanation. Thank you.
You're welcome. I know that one. Don't ask me anything about agility.
RagingLevine heading into Baron while he's in the area, foregoing Evelyn Castle for now. Perfectly fair.
Yeah, Aegis Shield and an Artemis Bow in those two non-trap chests. So those are great pulls for the team. Wonderful shield for Cecil if you want to do cover stretch, and Artemis Bow great for both Rosa and Sid later on if you still want to get some damage out of him once Rosa becomes a full white mage. Yeah, Armor in chat pointing out, yeah, if you have perfect timing, you can even double life. Usually people will do that by buffering a spell and using the cast time of the spell to queue up multiple life potions. You can see it sometime when people do D-machine grinds.
Yeah, I've pulled off a triple once or twice using Sylph as my killing spell, but Dissatisfied speaks of a fabled quad life glitch. That I've never seen. 5 times the XP for a D machine.
Oh, that's the dream.
Tasty.
So I should point out that RagingLevine has gone into Baron Castle while JBrunTR is diving into Evelyn Castle for loot. So again, a little bit of a divergence here. RagingLevine's going to make up some of that time just by targeting objectives, and so far JBrunTR hasn't gotten anything enormously big out of Evelyn Castle, but we still have this trapped chest and one more to go.
Evelyn Castle's a bit of a gamble, definitely, but one that's really hard to ignore, especially with Cecil in the party. With the no adamants flag on, the treasures in the 8th tier, the highest tier, consist of exactly the Excalibur and the Crystal Sword. And you stand a very good chance of finding tier 8 loot in the Evelyn Castle trap chests.
Did JBrunTR just do a sneak glitch?
He definitely stole a charm harp. I don't know if he glitched it on somebody or not.
It looked like he did. He went through his inventory and swapped it out. I believe there is a charm harp on Palom right now. Yeah, Zalde, our tracker, confirming. Oh, wow, and that has already paid itself out. That is exactly what JBrunTR wanted to see.
This is what you come to Evelyn Castle for. And he says, you know what, I don't care about anything else in here. I'm done.
Yeah, there's... I mean, yeah, we mentioned there's still one more trap chest in there. There's very little he could find at this point that would make as big of an impact as that just did. So JBrunTR's probably done looting for the rest of the seed.
And now he is going straight underground. So no punishment so far for skipping Baron Castle, just Bomb on the throne. But we'll see how much more of the overworld RagingLevine wants to deal with. Or maybe this is just a shop check. Because there is still that red to turn in.
Yeah, absolutely. There's still a lot that can, just because of the way the shops are tiered, there's a lot of good things that can spawn in this shop, so it's always worth a check whenever you feel comfortable doing it.
Good shop. We have Bacchus, which this party really wants, some coffins, which are nice, and that all-important silk web.
And I like the 3 silk web purchases. I'm a big fan of the 3 silk webs. You know, one in case you miss Zeromus, one in case you miss Zeromus again, and then that third one.
And you know, maybe one for a rude boss.
Yeah, potentially.
RagingLevine has made it to the Mob Bomb phase, but the Baron Throne actually has some solid magic resistance, and it's having a little bit of trouble AoEing these bombs out of existence.
Looks like he's finally got it under control here, and yep, has finished up the fight. And we did have a Sparkle in the Rubicante spot, so we've seen Ogopogo. We have seen Pale Dim. So we're looking at Plague D Lunars or Blarg here, blocking underground access.
However, Wyvern is not allowed to block underground access.
Well, why is that?
Because that would be rude. There's a flag, there's a safety check to stop the siege from being too difficult, and that safety check says that Golbez, Valvalis, and Wyvern can't stop your logical path underground. If you have 2 ways underground, they're allowed to block one of them, but with Force Hook being our flag, we only have 1 way underground.
Wow.
It's a be unsafe flag that ignores that check, but we don't play with that in tournaments.
And just a white robe in the Baron bin.
Whoa.
Okay.
You?
A nice white robe in the Baron bin. Like, we were hoping for something maybe a little more substantial, or...
Oh, hello! Look at that! Now, you want somebody that is allowed to block your underground access, but is still a bit rude?
Yeah, this might take a little bit of ATB finagling here. Oh, hey! Demist is on the throne. That's required. Well, not necessarily required, but definitely on the list.
Don't know if we want it right now. That's a lot of hit points to shoot through in a punchy spot, but knowing that Demist is there and that you can come back for it when you're ready is definitely welcome. There's basically 2 ways to deal with this BKC with what we've been shown in the seed. 1, get a bunch of hit points on someone and have them guzzle potions. Or 2, hide.
Yep, and all of a sudden we talked about, we talked about
Shabam.
that ability to escape from
Shabam.
battle.
Just no turns whatsoever. Not sure what JBrunTR's battle speed was at, but there was no time for anyone to take any actions. Rat tail turn in as a pass. Okay.
The pass too often this tournament. We've been seeing a lot of Lunar dives, but freely available pass to both runners means we will be getting to Z perhaps a little bit more easily. There's been a lot of routing done so that you end up with the crystal while you're in the Lunar subterrain already, but now that we've got an early pass available, might not be as that sort of routing might not be as required.
Haunted moon. Haunted moon. Haunted moon.
The only kind of moon. And yeah, it looks like RagingLevine is not making a play in Baron Castle. Well, I say that, but could just be checking the shop first before going out. It's yeah, okay, using the exit. Okay, good. Gonna get that crystal.
Yeah, go get that. Yeah, go get your crystal sword and live your best life.
Yeah, it's we talked about how it is a gamble to go in there into Evelyn Castle, but when you've got Paladin Cecil on your team, the payout is just too big to let go.
Yeah.
And JBrunTR is through the Pain Man with a party that's a little worse for wear, but we get a free heal before this fight.
Dial down the battle speed, toss plenty of Cure 2 potions at the big beefy Sid. That will get you through. Gonna rearrange things a little bit, and he's gonna go straight in. Ooh.
I like it. Very aggressive play here. Dean Lunar, oh, Crystal Sword Cecil says, oh, hey. Sorry about that holy weakness, buddy.
Was it undead?
just gonna sip that wine while gently.
They still have enough hit points.
Crystal Sword in the other hand.
They still have enough hit points that you're not gonna one-shot them with a Crystal Sword. You're looking at about 12,600 each, somewhere around there, 12,600.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So we're gonna need a little help.
Yeah, we're at the 29-minute mark and we're hitting for quad nines. What about it?
No, just get it done before the viruses start causing problems. The magic power on this spot isn't amazing, but the party also isn't terribly strong.
And JBrunTR apparently a big fan of the Nonary games because his Cecil is seeing all nines.
Conveniently, not that this fight is going to be close, but Cecil has a Protect Ring on, taking less damage from that hit point based attack of fire, and we're done. Hey, crumble skip.
And half an hour in, JBrunTR has broken into the Underworld. Tower key is in hand, so that is an option. Dwarf Castle always has a potential for big value. And we're going to get a brief look here at who is on top of the tower.
Chowderbags in chat pointing out that Cecil must be German because when he's asked if he could do 10,000 damage, his answer is 9999.
I love that one. I'm stealing that one, chat. Thank you, Chatterbags.
We've got Leviathan at top of the tower, so not overly compelling because not an objective, but also, not that there are a lot of bosses that are frightening when you have Crystal Sword Cecil, but Leviathan's definitely not on the list.
Right, exactly. One of the only fights that really presents an enormous problem is CPU, but we know that's in Baron and in not a terribly difficult spot, so. A late game Rubicante could probably be kind of nasty too.
Yeah, at a place like the Masamune altar or something like that, that could definitely be a bit on the messy side. Demist in Barren Basement, which JBrunTR hasn't seen yet, is going to slow that Cecil up a little bit too.
Yeah, definitely. It'll make that fight a slog. Not terribly difficult, but annoying to get through for sure.
Yeah. The first two bosses you find in the vanilla progression, Demist and Octomom, are weak to the darkness weapons that your Dark Knight uses. So, conversely, they are strong against holy weapons, which you will never find in the vanilla game when you face them. We have our second scoop of vanilla in the form of Dark Imps manning the super cannon. Imping the super cannon? Meh, whatever.
And big news here for Raging.
Big news in the form of a big stick. Shunk.
A little back and forth happy dance there. That's how I choose to interpret that anyway.
I'm here for it. Looks like RagingLevine's looking for some arrows to glitch with. Not finding much luck.
That's the worst feeling in the world. I sympathize so hard with Raging right now.
But unlike JBrunTR, RagingLevine says, maybe there's more goodies in here. Let's have a look. Also might want a little more XP before diving that hook route. Knowing that DKC is waiting at the King Queen Evelyn spot, I'm definitely a fan of more hit points, please.
Yeah, these hook routes can be so nasty, and no runner wants to go into them entirely unprepared. So yeah, if you can get some experience somewhere, go ahead and get it. Completely valid play.
Stalemen proving why they're not a popular boss, knocking Cecil to sleep, but fortunately, Edge is capable of finishing the job.
X is an interesting pull, probably not worth the time it took to get it, but
yeah, I mean, we do have a Sid,
yeah.
We do have an Asura out there, but
yeah,
we have a crystal sword.
Exactly, yeah. you can finagle around, take advantage of typing as much as you want, and just the raw power of the crystal sword is still going to make that matter all the more.
I mean, what JBrunTR and RagingLevine are going to do is a big reason why a lot of tournament flag sets and a lot of changes to the randomizer really hone in on Cecil and that sword. There's a flag that forces Cecil to be your anchor if you carry him in your party. There's the creation of the 8th tier of loot, which is a relatively recent addition to the randomizer. Some flag sets restrict Cecil or ban him entirely, and honestly, it's really just about the crystal sword. You talked about the value of Cover Cecil, and I'm not going to take away from that, but that's not what makes him feel OP to flag set designers.
Oh yeah, it's just one of those extra little things he can do. The what he is mostly known for is just the raw amount of damage that his special equipment gives him, and that's a darkness crystal, so already big payoff here from the tower.
Haunted moon. I'm sorry.
There's still a really good chance of a haunted moon. We got plenty of places left to look here in the Underworld. And even the places in the Overworld, nobody's wanted to make that harp check yet.
True. And both bosses at Dwarf Castle are waiting. Both bosses at the Fey March. Both of our runners have faded for bull. That just hit me. We'll get the legendary Rivers McCown single dip if we can find a pan here in the Underworld. Alternatively, the pan is in full. But we shall see.
Yeah, it just occurred to me that we've not seen Fabul from either of the runners either.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was very quick to get underground.
Super Cannon, check. Reveals package.
That's
another boss.
That's another boss check.
Indeed.
We're gonna
get those sirens done now.
Yeah, might as well. Okay, Sid's gonna take a little. There we go. Crystal Sword's got the power for it.
Go to sleep, Sid. You did your job getting us through that dark night. Cecil, please take a nap.
Now, why would we want our machinist on the ground here?
Well, we talked a little bit about how Edge is so wonderful in the overworld. Here's the deal. Whichever character is in the center of your party is your agility anchor. Everyone else's speed, how quickly they act in battle, operates on a ratio compared to that character's agility. There are some bosses, notably Zeromus, that have some ridiculous agility numbers, like 69, and you're never going to get your party to those kind of levels without a lot of grinding. But the way agility works for the Free Enterprise and the FF4 system is that if you can have a character that has more than 2.5 times the agility of your anchor, then you don't need any more, because that makes you as fast as you can possibly be. So keep a character with low enough agility, and you can get characters that are fast enough that it doesn't matter if the bosses are technically faster than them.
Perfectly explained.
Val here at Dwarf 1. Hello, Crystal Sword Cecil, do your thing.
Yeah, I don't think her agility here is going to be much of a problem. And even if it is, Edge has got those darts.
Rosa throwing hands. We're going to call that a distraction technique, which is charitable.
That Cure 2 may be a little bit more useful than the punch.
Probably. RagingLevine has found DKC. Reset, as one does when one finds DKC here, and set up for another go.
Here comes the Cure 2. Yeah. That is going to be enough.
Only seen one wave so far. We're not there yet.
Oh, I miscounted.
A little more. Need Edge to get a turn in quickly. Quickly. Nope, not quickly enough. But hey, we have an objective here in Dwarf Castle in the second spot, in the form of a Dark Elf.
Yeah, believe it or not, this is only the third boss that we've been able to take care of. We know there is a fourth one waiting at the bottom of Baron Castle.
And Dark Elf is going to actually, despite his weakness to Crystal Swords, fare better than a lot of bosses in this spot, only because you have to hit him twice to take him out due to the changing script.
Hanging in there on a technicality.
Technically correct. The best kind of correct. Changing up the order a little bit so that Edge is able to toss a potion to Cecil before the second wave puts him down, leaving Cecil time to get a potion in, and that gets the job done.
Excellently played by RagingLevine there to get through that fight. It's kind of a puzzle to figure out how you're going to keep your HP high enough and able to solve it.
Hallam is high enough level to cast Warp. Probably a big motivation for that egg grind we saw earlier.
Oh boy. You know what that means.
half price at the Faymark shop.
No. It means we can get underground now.
Oh, right.
Okay, but how about that Magma Key Sand Ruby 1-2 punch of useless key items?
You're closer to 10. Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly.
Good for you.
Dwarf Castle, your one-stop shop for formerly useful key items. Secondhand antiques, relics from a previous tournament, that Lolly Ho League leftovers. Hourglasses for sale.
ZZ3 because it's still going on, they say.
Yeah. Still a couple of fights we can use those hourglasses on. The 2 guard setups, and hey, rare job dwarf check.
Yeah. Copywriter. Not one who copyrights, but one who writes copy.
Very important distinction.
Off to Faymarch. Still hoping for that pan. It's gonna be it. It's gonna
Come
be
on.
It's gonna be a football.
Oh, God. You know what? I wanted it football now. I kind of wanted JBrunTR to pick up the pan here just because I love how smooth that check is, but now you've sold me. I wanted it football. Vanilla pan.
Aaron Lore knows. Aaron Lore's watched me play. But I'm a fan of vanilla in general, but in particular, the tower key and the pan really are they're among my favorite vanillas.
Crystal Ring instead, a little bit of useful kit there for, especially if you want to do some agility and manipulation.
It really is an amazing ring, as we see RagingLevine go with some breath strats on these D-Lunars, turning them into Lunar Froggies. Crystal Ring, terrific numbers in all 4 defense areas, provides that 5 agility you mentioned, protects you from paralysis, which is very relevant to the Golbez fight, and also against dragons.
This could be.
Was it Zed?
It was.
Okay, so the good news is that this is another chance to dish out casual quad nines. The bad news is this is an extremely punchy spot, and all my Lonzi knows how to do is punch.
Yeah, this is one of the. This is an interesting fight because you want Cecil both for the damage, and you would want Cecil to also set up cover strats to cheese through the fight. Unfortunately, he cannot do both. So now it's just going to be protect the paladin and hope you can out-damage my Lunzi.
35 grand in hit points here or so with 2 swings. And JBrunTR is halfway through. There's 3. We just need 1 more.
Ooh, Edge survives there. And everyone is up 2 for the XP. Expertly played by JBrunTR.
Very nicely done. Pierce through that fight, making it look far more casual than it was.
Yeah, that was don't let him fool you. That was a little tricky. Hey, if we wanted that cane, there's his best weapon.
Right? Alternatively, we have another dart.
Yeah, probably more useful. A more useful use for that defense sword at this point.
We are disappointed in our search for a pan. JBrunTR gonna head down the Sylph Cave and set up Sheila 1 before getting back topside, and then we'll see how much of what RagingLevine has done already up there that JBrunTR ends up doubling back on. There's a rat tail check, and not a clean sweep of Baron, but a full face check of it at least.
Yeah, right you are. And you got to imagine at this point, JBrunTR is going to take on that Demist fight when he gets to Baron, being at a much higher level than Raging Levine was when he went.
Yeah, and that will be 5 out of 7 for him, and we have not seen the football boss. We'll probably be seeing that shortly as well. That could put us at 6.
Haunted Moon. Haunted Moon. JBrunTR going to pick up his pass as Raging Levine takes on Leviathan here.
Yeah, and while we have a little overlap, shout out to our runners who are putting on a great show, showing why they've made it this far in the tournament. Give them a follow on Twitch. You'll see plenty more great free enterprise action. Also to our crew, Esgrunt. We put a Crystal Sword Cecil out there, so it's very much going burr, burr, burr. We'll have to see if there are some rude surprises waiting for us. Zald keeping up with this flurry of activity on tracking, and Smapedy doing a great job with me on comms. Having a blast.
Oh, only doing a great job because I'm following your lead, Commander.
I mean, ordinarily, Esgrunt DKC at King Queen Emblem would be super rude. Yes.
You gave us a big fat pile of HP, though, so.
Oh,
hey, there's that Rubicante fight that could be nasty for physical attacks in a spot where it definitely is not.
Yeah, well, one of those potential things that might slow down our burr machine in a spot where it will not be able to. And no, Noob Tree, we have not checked Harp. That is still on the table.
And I got to imagine we're getting close to a Harp check at this point.
It'll be interesting. I could see it going either way. A lot of runners, when they get to 5 out of 7, a little thing goes off in the back of their head where they think about the number of bosses up on the moon, including K value. 2 is about the normal number you can get in terms of objectives there, all other things being equal. So 5 out of 7 has been known to make runners make an immediate break for the moon. So, were you thinking we didn't have enough burr?
Yeah.
Smapedy? Did that ever?
No, I'm kind of like, I'm kind of wishing we had that king now. Kind of thinking back to that and going, I said king doesn't really have a place in that team, but was I talking out of my butt? No, the best part about this is we can just auto Berserk Cecil now. He can just swap that Crystal Sword out for an Avenger, and because the the game never updates his weapon to the Avenger, the stats of the Avenger rather, before giving him that Berserk, he still gets to maintain the properties of the Crystal Sword, which means he essentially has auto Berserk with the Crystal Sword, can't be dispelled. Really, really useful. It's a Bacchus plus.
Yep, even works through Crystal Armor, which we might care about if we didn't already have a power shirt.
Yeah.
JBrunTR cleaning up that overworld, getting these things out of the way as Raging Levine works his way through the Underworld.
Package acquired for Raging Levine, and yep, heading right over to Dwarf Castle, it would seem. Unless he's going to prove me wrong and hit this Dwarven pot to go into the Fame Arch to lose all that HP again. In which case, you know what? You showed me.
Or just, full healing here. So I think the question then on my mind is, while you've landed in this valley, do you check package? And the answer is no. No, you do not.
Yeah, that 4 out of 7 it's right on that precipice of, do I hit that moon? Do I try to look for one boss here? Now, we are getting the Harp check here.
Okay. Good times.
Yep, it is a little bit more of a value proposition than the package check is. It does take a while, but you get both a key item and a boss check here.
Yeah, and we still have some outstanding key items that are hiding bosses, Earth Crystal and Luca Key. And we have a pan that could lead to either of those items as well.
Yeah, and the big potential here is if we get that Earth Crystal or Luca Key, we are in face check mode for JBrunTR, so that is always an important place to be.
Why do we love the harp check? We love the harp check because we get a random song. There are a lot of songs that have been put into this game from all sorts of video games set to MIDI. Some of the originals done by Calm Lamity, but the bulk of them by our music dev Xenocat. And we love randomizing things here in this randomizer. So in a little bit, Edward is gonna start his staggering walk over to the harp, and we're gonna be quiet and let you listen to music.
I liked the attempt to stall there as we waited for all these spell animations to play out.
You saw what I did there? It was a little too obvious, wasn't it?
Like, oh, Commander started a little early. We have to draw this one out. But now we're prepared. DJ Spoony B, show us what you got.
Battle theme from Super Mario RPG is going to be our biggest reward for this check. Antlion, not an objective. Zeus gauntlets, kind of nice for powering up, but not worth even an exit spell.
Yeah, so the harp fade was indeed the play today, much to chat's dismay, but we still got some Mario RPG out of it. Would you like a fun Snape-y anecdote from my childhood?
Absolutely.
So Super Mario RPG was my first JRPG that I ever played. So I assumed when I then went on to the Final Fantasy series and then playing the Super Nintendo games that was how critical hits worked in every RPG. So for years, I would hit A while playing like Final Fantasy 4 and 6 because I thought that was how you triggered critical hits, and I was just, wow, it is a lot harder to get timed hits in these games.
Now, given my screen name, I bet you know that there is one Final Fantasy game that I'm about to tell you about where a timed button press does deal extra damage.
Oh, absolutely. I was very happy when that mechanic came back. I felt vindicated.
In FF8, when Squall brings his gunblade down, if you pull the trigger right as the blade is making contact, you'll hear it's very satisfying, and you get bonus damage.
I remember renting Brave Fencer Musashi just to play the Final Fantasy VIII demo, and the first thing I screamed out loud was, "They brought it back!"
Nice.
JBrunTR. Work of CPU. Look at your Sid is on the ground so that he is not gaining levels, and we can use him as a proper agility anchor.
Indeed. Going through this CPU real fast. RagingLevine doing a little more shopping underground, finds a ninja sword for his, well, for his ninja.
Not bad at all. I think was just using long swords up to this point, so good way to keep him competitive. Oh, I think RagingLevine did find a Murasame.
Might have. Sorry, I was a little distracted by music. Has RagingLevine cleared Dwarf to take care of the Dark Elf?
I believe so, yes, because I did see him get both the Sand Ruby and the Magma Key. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Buttons.
It's a delicious button. We can't blame you.
Buttons.
All right, gonna get that check here in the Fey March here from RagingLevine. See if he is feeling prepared enough to take on Mylon. Got to imagine with that crystal sword in hand that he's gonna be.
Yeah. It's already been shown to be very punchy, but it's also been shown that you've got time. For bonus fun, you could put the white shirt on Cecil and give him resistance to undead, just in case you were worried about Mylon hitting him a little too hard.
That's actually very heads-up play to keep those kind of resistances in mind, especially if you're going to use Cecil cover strats.
Down to the basement for JBrunTR. Out to get objective 5.
Yep, and there's still a key item hidden behind this boss that we do not know the identity of.
It's going to be another white shirt. Which is better than another crystal sword.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Getting this white shirt collection. We're going to get some darts here from Edge to do as much damage as possible before we get a mist transformation.
Oh, front row Cecil managing to stand up to that, but and fortunate because the last swing comes through and RagingLevine is also through this fight in one go.
Yep, that's excellent play there. Like I said, not deceptively difficult boss just because of how hard it hits. See, with just the two of them up, the two of the power couple left standing, but gets through it and is likely on his way up to Sylph Cave and back to the Overworld.
And D-Mist showing off his resistance to holy damage as Cecil is dealing a mere 2,000 and change per swing.
Yep, and this is where we're going to start to see RagingLevine making up ground here, because RagingLevine's already done that Baron Castle check, so that time's going to be made up for here. Didn't finish out the basement, so still needs to go in there, and did not do Fabul as well. So, no, it looks like JBrunTR has a significant advantage here. We're going to see RagingLevine catching right back up. Gosh, don't you wish you could just reach out and hold Cecil back during the mist phase? Just grab him by that cloak and be like, no.
There are a few ways to do that. Unihorns, if you happen to see them, you'll occasionally see runners hold on to them because it's one of the few things that will cure Berserk status. Alternatively, if you're strong enough, you could just throw a virus in his face and say, no, stop, I'll get you back up later.
You're too angry right now.
But he was so close. Like, he only needed one more swing to skip that phase. That aggressive push almost gets the job done. Well, you called it. Zald, our tracker, says spoon for the spoon word.
I think it's probably a little too late in the game to go pick up that Edward. It's not like we're hurting for physical damage right now, but that'll be a fantastic dart that Edge can use against either Zeromus or a tricky monster that pops up between now and then.
Yeah, you are right. And also, Mr. Bus Driver in chat pointing out that the silver staff that Cecil starts with when C. Neki isn't on also will take care of that Berserk status for you.
That's a heads-up play there. And hot on JBrunTR's heels, RagingLevine is into this D-Mist fight to get back up to boss parity. Whereas JBrunTR is taking his team to the Tower of Wishes, and we're going to be raising the big whale.
Running out of things to do on Earth. There's still a package. Check. Yeah.
And that's it. You're
so
right.
We are gonna have to go at least to the giant to finish this, and probably to the moon. So.
Acquired giant, double giant, double giant.
I like
haunted
it.
Moon, haunted moon.
I'm here for it. Let's see it.
We've seen it more than once, which is always surprising. But yeah, if there are two bosses in that giant, it is hard required. Ooh, we're gonna see a roster swap here. No, you're not putting Edward in your party, are you? Are you doing it?
Are you?
Oh, you're doing it, you mad pet man. I love it.
Spoonward
online.
We are all Zerkers here. We don't need any magic. We got an Avenger. We've got probably still 18 or so Bacchus left. Just drink it up and go.
You know, I kind of love this play as I'm thinking about it, because honestly, what is left that we really need magic for?
Not much.
Yeah, we can just kind of chew everything physical. So yeah, this is I like it. I like this play a lot.
And
I also like going to the giant first.
This feels like a counter play. Like, we know that JBrunTR's ahead.
Right.
But JBrunTR might not feel the same way and might be running to this giant as sort of a catch-up move.
Yeah, there's a couple of reasons here. We've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're at 10 key items, so we're gonna get double experience from this first boss fight, which is highest XP boss fight spot in the game. So that Edward could get slingshot up to massive levels if this is the case. If this is indeed a boss that we need to fight, so that's could sort of eliminate some need for a massive grind.
Yeah.
But yeah, this could also be a feeling behind sort of play, because you know, with this high power party, an hour and 5 with some of the finishing times we've been seeing so far this tournament, I'd be a little scared too.
Yeah, and you know you've had that darkness for a while. It's not hard to imagine an opponent that didn't do, say, Twin Harp, and so didn't have to worry about it. You can also get a lot of XP at the Ribbon Room. That's 200,000 XP. It's not as much as Elements, but it's pretty close.
JBrunTR is going for it, I think. Knows it's not a boss that he needs, but he's still going to do it.
Yeah, and this is another boss that's resistant to holy weapons, but this really fast spot will slow down as the fight goes on. Why is that?
Well, just sort of the mechanics of this fight is every 2 melee hits that Octomam is hit by will lose one of those tentacles, and as a result will lose a bit of agility. It's just sort of the way the fight was designed, that you wear it down over time and it becomes less and less threatening. So this with this melee heavy team, we're going to see Octomam run out of tentacles very quick.
And I like the notion of using a lot of blink. Apparently Octomam objects to that method because his first shot goes straight to Rosa.
I mean, that's just basic strategy. Hit the healer.
You're not wrong. And there's a lot of hit points in this spot, so Sid has plenty of time to take himself out while Cecil and Edge focus on taking on the Octomam. Sid might need it. He just dealt 1 damage to himself.
Yeah, he's going to need a little bit of help here. I don't know if there's a kamikaze sitting in that inventory. I don't think I saw one, but that would be the easiest way. Or potentially a coffin as well. Might be just resolved.
I think Cecil's going to
get the levels here.
Just a hunch. Maybe we bring Edward out and ask him to do the job. How much damage can a level 1 Spoony Bard do?
And now I'm curious.
I think he needs at least 2 attacks. Oh, you know, we get a little assistance there. Thank you. Thank you. Oh,
take a little bit of time to spoon through them.
That's not gonna do it. There's your kamikaze. Or, you know, coffin works too.
We did it. We got there.
Kamikaze's more thematic, though.
So this is such a risky play here by JBrunTR. If this doesn't pay off with the boss in the CPU spot, then RagingLevine is not just back in this race, but might actually be in the driver's seat. This is taking quite a long time.
Yeah, a lot of hit points at this spot, and with Cecil back down to the same sort of 2,000 damage per swing that he was crippled with at the D-Mist. Yeah, we're going to be here a little while.
And yeah, just echoing Zald here, I believe that's correct. I have not seen a single cursed ring on either runner's side.
Neither have I. And whatever's back here isn't required in that you're allowed to skip 1 boss, but the package is a popular choice for that 1 boss you skip. And once you start adding on to that number, you start running the risk of fading exactly what you need to get the seed completed. Yeah,
exactly. But we are through Octomam, which means we are about to see something like 1 million XP here.
It's decent.
2 million, excuse me. I forgot we have 10 key items.
205,000.
Oh, it's 100. Whatever. Significant digits, something.
So it's about as good as a ribbon. You get to it faster.
That is true.
RagingLevine has found sirens on the moon. So, you know, good times.
A moment of truth here. Oh! That is a boss on our list, and
alrighty.
This pays off.
Value.
now we still do need 1 more boss here, which is likely somewhere on the moon. But that is one less boss that JBrunTR is going to have to hunt down, and his grind is nearly done. And that's a purple robe. That's Mylon and Friends. We already got that knowledge, so nothing here in Value Cave.
Yeah, so JBrunTR is either... could be anywhere from a little behind to significantly ahead. It just depends on how far apart these two bosses are and how long RagingLevine takes to finish up this grind. If the bosses, the best case scenario for Levine is for the bosses to be right next to each other, like Ribbon Room and White Spear. But JBrunTR, under the circumstance, would be best served by one boss in the Ribbon Room and another boss way down at the package.
Exactly, yeah. If there's a boss behind the package, then this is extremely bad news for Levine. Taking that gold King Ryu fight here and getting the life glitch off. A ton of experience for this, and that's going to be doubled as well, I believe.
Asura managing to knock Cecil down just before Rosa could get a blink in. There's no wall up, so Asura gets some time to heal as JBrunTR also goes into recovery mode. A kingdom for a mute knife. Aaron Lore, RagingLevine has the magma key. It just hasn't been marked off.
Yeah, that button got
eaten. Is at 10 key items.
We're trying to pry it from a mouth, but
yeah, we got it now.
Some marsupial snarling has been stopping us. Marsupial? They're not marsupial. They're raccoon.
No, you're right.
Possums are okay. Possums are marsupials.
Possums are in fact marsupials.
Yeah,
You're
yeah. I know one thing.
You're good. JBrunTR recovers, takes down Asura, is at 6 out of 7, and is probably heading to the moon now.
Yeah, gotta imagine that's the next play, unless you want to throw a massive Hail Mary at the package, but...
Not to say, the giant play I didn't see coming, so what do I know?
I mean, your tournament life is on the line. Who knows what decisions you're going to make?
Right? And after the number of weeks this tournament has been going on, like... shout-outs.
Yeah. Absolutely. It has been a grind for people here. So yeah, keeping your focus through all of that. Massive props.
It's a testament to a lot of aspects of this community that so many of us want to keep coming back for these tournaments, and that the community itself has been so wonderful about teaching people that so many of us can come in and compete in these tournaments, that the admins, when they're putting it together, have to... I can't say enough about what the admins do to try and put together tournament formats that balance so many things. Some of those things being, the length of the tournaments, but also giving every entrant a fair chance to compete, and not just immediately, oh, you lost your first match, hope you had fun. The struggle is real.
Yeah, it's a big balancing act, and we don't always get it right, but we try to do the best we can for everybody, and hope everyone has a good time. And it's always nice when you get in and people are having a good time. So thanks everybody for coming out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for participating. Thanks for also to all of our volunteers that have let us show off all of these matches. It's just a huge community effort. Couldn't do it without all of you. And JBrunTR is going to pick up some sirens, though I can't imagine he's going to pop too many of those.
No, probably not. But RagingLevine's done with his sirening and is about to head down into the LST.
Yep, and with JBrunTR getting the knowledge that Cave Value has nothing of interest, he is also going to be heading into the Lunar subterrain. Now this is interesting because we're in face check mode here, but there are still we're not in face check mode technically.
Not yet.
but the runners are certainly going to be treating it like face check mode at this point.
Oh, I would be, but hear me out. Both bosses at Zot.
Let's go.
There's still a chance for a haunted moon, I'm just saying. We still got sealed cave on the table too.
Golbez and the cable guy going, so you're telling me there's a chance?
Yes.
JBrunTR first to hit the Pale Dim altar, and we are going to see Cagnazzo reset.
Earth crystal. Earth crystal. It's an angry spot for Cagnazzo.
Yeah, that's not like there's very little that's going to stand in the way of our runners right now, but yeah, late game Cagnazzo is never fun.
But yeah, you're right. You can burr up Cecil, and because of the way Cagnazzo's wave attacks work, each swing that he hits will significantly reduce the damage those deal. So, yeah, you'll get through the fight. You'll just have to patch up afterwards.
The turtle, not much of a hurdle at this point.
Not really. Few things are.
So we'll see if JBrunTR is going to check that Crystal Sword altar or is going to hit the bulk of checks over by the save point near the Lunar core.
Yeah, turning left to the Crystal Sword altar would definitely be a counter meta play, but we've already seen one of those in the form of the giant, so maybe another one coming.
You know, we talked earlier about that early pass might make it to doesn't necessitate a walk down to Zeromus through the Lunar core, but here we are, 6 out of 7 bosses in the LST. Pass just not getting a lot of love in this tournament.
And JBrunTR is making a left turn to the Crystal Sword altar. Zal pointing out some more spicy possibilities. It's possible that if both of the Zot bosses are required, JBrunTR is in go mode and just doesn't know it. You can check the first one.
That's a very good point. Don't need that fight.
This is not the Mylon's Edge you're looking for yet. You found that down in the Feymarch.
Meanwhile, at the White Spear altar,
RagingLevine showing us some bosses first.
Oh, nope, goodbye.
So much for Blarg.
Haunted Moon.
Could be. Got 2 outs left. Ribbon Room. What do you have for us?
Oh, darn, there's value.
So, remember that Octomom we took for a bunch of XP a little while back?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
You called it right there that this is the spot that has the equivalent amount of XP here, and it's completely free.
This is gonna be go mode for JBrunTR in about 20 seconds.
Yeah,
RagingLevine really needs to find Golbez at Masamune, which
exactly
are not words you ever wanted to hear as a runner, but it's the truth.
Yeah, it is the only way for RagingLevine to stay competitive in this race at this point. Obviously, doesn't know that yet, but yeah, that's got to be Golbez, or I can't see a path that JBrunTR doesn't take this.
Now, the good news about Golbez at Masamune is once you get a wall up, he'll do a great job of taking himself out due to the magic power there. But still, that's not a fight you want to have to take.
It isn't, and gosh, like, if I'm RagingLevine, I'd almost be tempted to piggy up right now.
It'd be fair to do it, but for all he knows, it's Asura there.
That's true.
If it is Asura there, he's really going to want wall and nuke.
Yeah, that's a good point. You really do want that magic for Asura.
Oh, Sid's getting a lot of levels, though. If you were going to take one fight on the moon checking for key items, that'd be it.
What, RagingLevine not interested and with no idea where that Golbez is. This race is slipping away from him.
Yeah. Depending on how far behind JBrunTR feels and how aggressive he is with his approach to Z. Oh, never mind. I missed how much in hit points JBrunTR got from that fight. Rose's got 2,200. That'd be a heck of a high roll.
Yeah, it's that combination of the giant plus the ribbon room. That's too much experience. Yeah, there's very little danger in here, but I mean, Zeromus always a dangerous fight. It's never free. There's always a chance for a struggle, even with a party as powerful as this.
Definitely.
But I think the flags are being busted out, which means only one thing. It's time for the commentators to pretend to forget to know what those flags mean.
I always remember what those flags mean. Those flags seem to think there are only 25 letters in the alphabet.
These flags have never heard of the 26th letter and are very confused by it.
Yes. That's exactly what they mean. No, we talked about our love.
Could we just put like an accent mark over an S or something?
I'm here for this.
But no, that's not what it means. What does it mean, Commander?
It means that much like we're fond of randomizing harp songs, fond of randomizing Z-sprites, we don't randomize the boss, not his location, not his script, none of that. It's too iconic and would mess too many other things up. What we do, though, is when the crystal is used on Zeromus and he transforms, there are 575 or so different sprites that he can transform to. More being added as we speak by our hardworking art dev, Scala Kitty. And because of that, there are some questions we like to ask. What are some of those
was that where you wanted me to come in?
Yeah.
I missed my cue. I'm sorry. I was looking.
No, it's all good. I didn't specifically.
Whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
In the name of the moon, who are we going to punish?
Oh, Wispy Woods.
Okay.
Classic.
Sure. That'll work.
Very rare we see him on this side of the screen. Unless you're fighting that like double Wispy fight from Kirby Superstar.
Does not have a butt. Hat. Debatable. I'll go for cute.
I don't know. What if there's like two roots like behind him? Like that kind of like make two like little lumps. Would that be a butt?
I'd allow it.
I was for the viewers at home. I was actually sitting here at my desk, like moving my hands to sort of in the shape of a butt, as if you could actually see me. That's how much I give you. I bring. RagingLevine having a much quicker time with this Octoman fight with that Palom available, though.
Oh yeah. And fortunately, JBrunTR didn't zerk everybody up because that counter nuke went straight to Rosa and knocked her down. So
yeah, that is probably the last person you want to get hit with that counter nuke.
Yeah, Rosa's the key to getting through this fight.
You ideally want Edge to hold that spoon up to act as a nuke conductor, but I don't know if that actually works. Good damage from those darts here.
If something somehow goes wrong for JBrunTR in this fight, rude wombo combo, something a little strange happens, then we'll suddenly have a race. Because RagingLevine is going to get through this Octomom, go forward to Asura, be in go mode, and then can just swag the whale on over to Troya and walk right into the Z fight.
Got a little bit of trouble here with... Okay, but Edge is still on Berserk, still in Dart mode, so he can kind of throw it back up.
Now, have we tipped to phase 2, or are we going straight to another?
I don't know.
Yep, here's the shake. We got a problem. Houston, we have a problem.
That Edward as an anchor is really becoming an issue for JBrunTR.
Yeah, people just cannot keep up. Zeromus with that 69 agility that we spoke of earlier, Edward might be fast enough to put Zeromus at R8-2 if his agility is at least 28, but everyone else's agility is, like, Edward's is 5 because he's the anchor, and everyone else is just struggling to keep up.
Oh, Rosa could not get herself to cap with that Cure 4 in danger from this Big Bang. It is not nerfed.
But Cecil will definitely be fine. Sid will probably be fine, and even Edge survives.
Yes,
so,
that Edge surviving's key. Gets the life out on Rosa. This is a deadly one.
But Cecil has, the heals have kept Cecil standing, which is honestly Rosa's job. And he's still able to put out Crystal Avenger power shirt damage at 6-7 a pop. So
does that
I think
Rosa
with this Cure 4, JBrunTR is through.
Yeah. Does that Rosa still have the Artemis bow equipped, I wonder?
Maybe.
Still, Cure 4 seemed to lack a little bit of punch.
Maybe. And that counter nuke is going to drop Edge. Going to leave us with a choice here. Rosa says, I need my chemist. Come back.
Yeah, don't blame him at all. Want to get back up, especially since now you're boxing Sid. You need someone that's available to throw items around.
Yeah, and Rosa might be needing that arty bow just to keep up speed. We talk about there's rocks. We're good.
Yep, there go the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Did Rosa just completely dodge them?
Rosa likes to do that. But no, I think she took a hit. And I see an Artemis bow down there, so I don't think.
Yeah, it doesn't look like. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like she was using the staff.
And down goes Zemus. JBrunTR has taken it, given us an exciting Z fight here at the end, but JBrunTR will advance.
Zemus tried. Zemus had it out for that Rosa. And, if things shift a little bit, JBrunTR is walking back towards, like I said. It was a close race. And it could
very,
be
very close race here. RagingLevine going to be going into the Z fight here almost immediately after JBrunTR's is over. So yeah, this race very, very close, but JBrunTR's going to take the win, 128.49. We'll be advancing in the Waning bracket, and I believe we are joined by the victor here this evening. JBrunTR, congratulations. A little bit of a exciting finish there.
Yeah, I didn't quite have the anchor that I wanted, and at the absolute end, I tried to get the quad zerkers off, but it's a little too late.
Hey, still managed to pull through. Any Z fight that you can walk away a winner from is a successful one. So great job on holding that together and seeing it through.
Thank you.
Always nice to see a little bit of panache from our runners. You gave us a twin heart check. You made that. You went back and grabbed a spoon word when you got a spoon, and then you ran off to the giant the moment you had the darkness crystal. What was the thought there with that giant?
Well, you usually get like 2 bosses between the giant and the moon, so I figured, given the fresh spoon word, there's plenty of experience on the giant, so that was going to be his grind to slingshot him, and then finding a shirt there was just a happy accident. So that was nice.
So walk us through a little bit of your routing decisions here. Specifically, just kind of thinking about, like, you get into the Underworld at the 30-minute mark, still plenty of left to do on the Overworld. What was sort of your thought process as you sort of prioritized your checks?
So my usual routing on these seeds are to get underground as fast as possible. That opens up like the Yang, Check, Dwarf Castle, Fey March, all of that. And I mean, it'd be nice to have like if the pain was on the overworld or something, to be able to just make one trip up Fabul. But ended up not really mattering anyway. And then having Crystal, Sword, Power Shirt, Cecil, nothing's really going to stand in your way.
You notice the very instant you got that crystal sword, you noped right at him castle and said, "Yep, I'm just taking care of the rest of the seed now."
Yep, that was it. No more looting. Really, no more shopping, like, except for like sirens. I think people didn't need those either. But yeah, it makes seeds quite a bit easier. Imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, going there for the grind makes sense. You happen to find the sirens afterwards. It is what it is. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, better to have them and not need them than need them and not have them, I suppose.
Pretty much. But this will get you through another round in this Blue Moon Waning bracket. Congratulations on that. Do you know who your potential opponents are? And if not, do you want to know?
I have not looked, so we're way up against.
You will need to keep an eye on a match that is taking place Friday at 10 p.m. later this week, possibly restreamed, between Locke and Beauty and Discovery. We'll face the winner of that match.
Alright. Yeah. So, regardless of how that ends up, my goal coming in to this tournament was to get 3 wins. So, as far as I'm concerned, I've achieved that goal, and I'm happy.
Yeah, and I mean the only loss you've taken so far being against Curios, I mean that is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. So you are kind of on fire here.
Yeah, I had no real hope of beating Curios. It's just too good.
He's definitely shown that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking to us. Best of luck in the rest of your matches in this tournament. I can't wait to see them. Always a pleasure to watch you play, JBrunTR. Any final thoughts before we let you enjoy the rest of your night?
Just saying thank you to Comms, Commander, Smeepty, of course, S-Grunt on the restream. Someday we'll find out what the S stands for. And then Zaldia pushing the buttons, keeping everybody honest. So I will see you guys on the next one.
Thank you so much.
And that was the winner of tonight's race, JBrunTR. Like we said before, give both of our runners a follow. Like, you've seen the show they put on for you. You'll be seeing plenty more good stuff from them if you check out their channels. And we're joined by the runner-up in this race, RagingLevine. GG.
Thanks. Ugh.
Yeah, that's fair.
Little bit of rough stuff there. We got the Dark Knight Cecil in the difficult spot there, but you handled that extremely well. Were you concerned about a rough hook rough hook route early on? What was kind of your thoughts going into that hook route?
No, I wasn't super concerned about a rough hook route. I was like, I don't know, the odds of a reasonably soft hook route are fairly high in general. Like, most of the time your hook route's going to be manageable just based on how large the boss pool is and how many of them are like medium to low difficulty in those spots. So I'm not generally too worried about that. I haven't fought DKC in that spot in like, I don't know, a month and a half. So I just haven't, and I've probably done it once ever, right? Because I started doing this like Memorial Day weekend, so I just didn't remember how to set it up, and as you probably saw on stream, I figured out each piece 1 bit by 1 bit as it came back to me, reset by reset. So I don't know, like, obviously was the time that I lost to DKC at that spot somewhere in the ballpark of the difference between JBrun's time and my time? Yeah, probably. But did I feel good about how I navigated it? Also, yes. So,
hey, that's the important part. You know, Seed gives you a puzzle, you solve it, you overcome it. Always a good feeling.
most definitely.
So yeah, when sort of getting into the late game there and heading to the moon, when you still had 2 bosses there, obviously, you know, the expectation is averaging around 2 bosses on the moon and only coming up with 1. Were you getting worried that the face checking might come to bite you and that you were missing a key item, or what was kind of going through your mind there?
I started thinking about that when I was looking at my key item list. Obviously, you know, looking at the list, I can see that I have Earth Crystal and Luca Key out, right? And so if I don't find the Earth Crystal at some point, then there's a chance that I'm going to be locked out of one of the bosses that I need to find. So I briefly considered fighting that Elements for about a microsecond, but I just decided, heck, you know, I'll leave the save right there at the crystal spot, because that's a fairly free fight in that spot in my experience. With the level of power I had anyway, most boss fights were reasonably free. And I'll just, you know, I'll do Giant. I'll probably do Harp, because JBrun doesn't like doing Harp. And then, like, you know, I'll do Harp, I'll do Package, and then I'll come back and check the moon if it comes to that. But you know, the odds are against that mattering in that position, because I have access to what is, you know, to all but 2 boss spots, right? Because I can still go up Zot 1. So, you know, it's probably fine mathematically.
It's always fine until it isn't, but thankfully, right. Not today.
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, this does mean it is the end of your tournament run, but you have put on a fantastic show throughout this entire tournament. Did you want to share any thoughts about the tournament experience as a whole, or how you felt you played throughout it?
It was a lot of fun. I looked forward to doing this every week. And you know, the week that I lost and had to take a week off between matches, I was bummed out. You know, I was like, where's my tournament match? Why do I not get the high octane adrenaline rush here? But I feel good about how I played, even today, losing, even in the other match that I lost to Brickety Brick. I thought those were both matches that I still played well. Like, I did 2 asyncs this morning, and in both of those asyncs, my times were about 12 minutes behind JBrun. So coming within about 4 minutes felt a lot better. Obviously, I feel good about that, given, you know, just how fantastic of a runner JBrun is. I guess the other thing that I want to say is, you know, pretty obvious, but it's also pretty important. I really appreciate everybody in the community who's taken time to help me and other new people, you know, get involved in this tournament. From Asuka and everybody involved in the Pink Puff League. To my good friend Mecca, who has been doing a lot of great coaching of me and helping me out a ton as I've gone through this tournament. To the folks on the Restream team who've welcomed me into that group, and especially y'all who are taking care of the restream today. Commander Leonhardt and Smapty on the comms here, is all on the 1s and 2s on the buttons, and S-Grunt making sure everything goes live on the restream end. So just a big thank you to a really supportive community and a cool group of people.
And thanks right back at you for, you know, volunteering your time and coming out and putting on such a great show, both as a player and on the Restream team. So big thanks to you, RagingLevine. It's been a pleasure having you in this tournament, and we're looking forward to seeing you in the next one.
Thanks. I'll be back.
Excellent. Glad to hear it.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. That was our runner-up, RagingLevine, doing a great job of taking care of the shout outs for us.
Yeah.
So,
That's
with
one less
that,
thing we gotta do.
right? So,
But what we do
with
need
that,
to do is get you some more free enterprise here tonight, which
Yes, we
is
do.
going to be happening over on Elven Sorrow stream, doing some Blue Moon practice. He has got a match coming up on Friday, so show him some love. We're going to be back here tomorrow with some races as well. Let me tell you about them real quick. Never mind, I don't have the details for that, but you can go to the Discord, which is going to be right here in chat. If you want to get all the information on all our upcoming matches, we'll have that ready to go. But anything you'd like to add, Commander Leonhardt?
Just that, yeah, that. What you said. Go to the Discord, check up on things. I'm scrolling through this right there. Might not be any races scheduled for tomorrow, but we'll find out about that more.
Yeah, we've got Carolee versus Gypwood tomorrow. We'll have that on the multi-Twitch. Won't have that restream, but we'll be back on Thursday for more. But anyway, yes, go show Elven Sorrow, some love. No spoilers, of course, and we will see you next time. Have a good one, everybody.